Hello, today we will be showing you the new fleet management mobile application that we developed from scratch. We will be focusing on the central and most important aspect of it, which is the handover form. We hope you enjoy it, and if you want any more details or a personalized demo, just contact us. So this is the main application screen. From here we can access vehicle information, we can access user information, and we can also access the central part of the mobile application, which is the vehicle handover. So for vehicle information, we have some general details. We have the allocation history for each vehicle. We have the physical checks section in which we can review physical checks or create physical checks. And we also have the legal requirements section, which displays all the legal requirements for each vehicle and the expiration date of each requirement. So if you go into general information and search for a plane number, first we can see that all the information categories that I mentioned before are accessible from here as well. In the first category, you have the general details that were defined in the application. Under the legal requirements tab, we can see all the vehicle's legal requirements. For example, here we have the mandatory insurance information. Here we have the periodical inspection information, the vignette information. Under allocation history, we can see the allocation history for that car. As you can see, we have two entries with different allocation types. One is the main user and another is mileage responsible. So we have multiple allocation types. We have main user, we have secondary user, we have mileage responsible. In this case, the main user is the one who drives the car, and the mileage responsible is the one that needs to input the mileage at the end of each month. And as I said, we also have a secondary user, so each vehicle can have multiple users assigned. One is the main user, and we also can add the secondary users that drive the car from time to time. As you can see in this case, the main user and the mileage responsible are the same person, but different persons can be assigned. So for example, you can have a secretary be the mileage responsible. Under the physical checks tab, you can check the already created physical checks, or you can add another one. Let's add another one. Let's select a location for the physical check. Let's input the kilometers. So previously it was 1000, let's say. Right now we're at 2000 kilometers. So for each side of the car, so as you can see, we have driver side, passenger side, center side, and other issues. For each category, we have the car parts displayed, and we can add a problem for each car part or repair one of the problems. So as you can see right now, all the problems from the last physical check were retrieved, and now let's say that this dent was fixed and this scratch was fixed. But let's say that we now on the passenger side, on the front door, we have another dent and the back door is scratched. So when we're finished reviewing all the other sections, just click back and the physical check is saved. For user information, let's enter a user ID. and we can see the general details for each user. And this brings us to the main part of the mobile application, which is the vehicle handover. Let's do a quick sync first to see if we have any pending handovers. We don't, so let's create a new one. So the handover process starts with this form. First of all, we need to select an allocation type. We have permanent and temporary. We use temporary for pool car reservations. Let's say this is a permanent allocation. We can either hand over the car to an employee or user, or withdraw the car from him. Let's say this is a handover. We can either allocate a new vehicle or reallocate an existing one. Let's say this is a new vehicle. We have multiple usage types in the application. Basically, all the users have a category assigned to them, and based on this category, they have different privileges. Some of them will need to create detailed road sheets for each trip they make, and some others will just need to input their mileage at the end of the month. So let's say this is a status car, some of them more privileged ones. As I said, there are multiple user categories. Let's say this is a main user. Let's now select a user for this handover. After that, the form will be automatically populated with the data from the database. Let's select a location. This area shows the expiration dates for the user's documents. If one of the documents is expired, the user won't be able to go over and finish the handover. But there are certain cases when, let's say, the user replaced the identity card but forgot to update it in the system. In this case, the handover responsible will just update the documents from here. We can also add secondary users. In the next step, we have all the vehicle details. Let's select a vehicle. The fields are again populated automatically from the database. So as you can see, we have all the basic details of the car. We can also specify a fuel level. Let's say this is half full. We can also mention if the vehicle is clean or not. Let's say it's clean. The number of kilometers, as I said, this is a new car, so let's input 1000. We can also modify any of the details if we want. The next step goes into more detail about the vehicle details. For example, this is the accessories part. It mentions if we have a crank, a spare tire, what kind of tires do we have, if you have a fire extinguisher. We can also mention the tire status. What's the status for each wheel? We can also input any observations if you have them, and then we need to sign. And the next step is the mandatory physical check that is performed for each handover. So as I've shown you before, we have the car split into 4 categories, each with its own part. So let's say we have a scratch on the back door and a dent on the front one. We can also add a photo from here if you want. And then, in order to complete the handover, we need to go through the terms and conditions, agree to the terms and condition, and select a PDF language. So we have some customizable templates for the handover, and we use those at the end of the handover to basically generate a PDF with all the details that were inputted during the handover. And we can have templates for multiple languages, so let's select English. The terms and conditions are also based on the template. Let's click next and sync the handover. Back to Web Central, we can also review the handover from here. One extra feature that we have here is that we can download the handover document that was generated based on the template that I mentioned. This document, as you can see, contains all the details that we populated during the handover. For example, if you remember, we had half a tank of fuel. As I said, these templates are highly customizable. For example, here is our Romanian pool car template, which I'm sure you will like, because all the problems that were selected during the physical check will be displayed on it. So for example, this has an element to replace for the front fender. It has a dent on the front door, and it has a scratch on the back door. All of this on the driver's side. But yeah, that's pretty much it regarding to mobile and mobile handovers. I hope you liked it, and if you are interested in a full demonstration, be sure to contact us. We'll help you with all the details that you need.